Welcome to the Maasto Fitness podcast. Today, in episode 37, we're going to talk about aerobic and anaerobic conditioning for motocross, enduro, off-road racers. This form of conditioning is essential for many sports and for many riders. It plays a unique role in supporting both endurance and quick burst of power needed throughout races. So I'm going to compare the two and kind of compare them to other sports as well and talk about why they are important for you and how the specifics really matter. So, this is a quick hit podcast. We keep them short and to the point, focusing on the things you can do off the bike to race faster and safer. At Maasto Fitness, we work with racers remotely in the real world. A lot of them don't have time to train on the bike or off the bike, so we provide training off the bike so days on the bike, whether riding or racing, are faster and safer. And like I said, today we're getting into that aerobic versus anaerobic conditioning. So first, let's start and just define the two. So first, aerobic conditioning. This involves the body's ability to produce energy over long periods of time using oxygen. It's crucial for stamina in races where you're riding for extended periods of time. And it helps your ability to keep going without exhaustion and losing too much energy too quickly. Think about it like running a marathon or like road cycling or mountain biking for a long time. Um, those are all type of athletes that have a heavy aerobic conditioning that they need to maintain a steady, sustainable pace. And that's exactly what we need to do when we're doing longer events. And honestly, and kind of the science of aerobic training, that's even what we need for shorter events as well, is that aerobic conditioning. Now, on the other hand, is anaerobic conditioning. This is about short, intense efforts where oxygen isn't really readily available to fuel the muscles. Instead, the body relies on stored energy sources in the muscles to produce the powerful, quick burst. Sports like basketball, weightlifting involve anaerobic work. Just where a really quick, short burst of energy is needed. Some type of CrossFit type training, as well as another one that you can think of. There's anaerobic type burst there. Now, the unique thing about being a dirt bike racer, no matter what discipline you do, is it's a unique mix of both are needed. So aerobic conditioning for endurance to stay sharp and then to focus on the entire event. But then you also need anaerobic for when you're doing those like quick accelerations, really hard efforts, really difficult sections. So it's kind of like a hybrid approach is needed for cardiovascular training as a racer. I think a good example of also one that requires some of that anaerobic without oxygen is doing hard enduro. Because you're doing these really intense, hard things for a couple minutes that are often very physical, even when you're working with the bike as best you can. And then you get a break, and then you go back and do some more that anaerobic work. So that's another great example as well. Now, um, aerobic conditioning for racers. It's really those long rides that helps your body rely better on oxygen use and keeping the muscle fueled and prevent fatigue. So unlike marathon running, where you might stay at a consistent pace, racers, we're kind of all over the place with shifting gears and effort and the effort going up and down. So training aerobic endurance helps your body become more efficient and at taking oxygen and delivering it to working muscles. That's really the key point there. So we want to take that steady state cycling, running, swimming, rowing, all those type of events, or all those types of exercises. We want to do for like a longer period of time, a sustainable pace to help build our aerobic endurance. These type of workouts will help enhance our cardio output, the amount of blood your heart can pump per minute, and improve your VO2 max, which is the maximum oxygen your body can use during exercise. So aerobic fitness really key to help managing heart rate. For like a comparison, cycling or marathoners try to keep their heart rate at a long, steady effort, where a motocross racer is going to fluctuate. So with solid aerobic conditioning, though, through that swimming, cycling, running, rowing, your body's going to do better at those with those efforts that you those efforts that you have during races where heart rate's going up and down. So just kind of keep that in mind and think about that. You know, you're going to do this steady state, longer stuff like you would if you were like a road cyclist or a marathoner. You're going to incorporate sessions like that. But doing so will help your body better deal with those fluctuations in heart rate while you're racing, just due to improving your cardiovascular system, the strength of your heart. your body's efficiency and ability to deal with stressors. So think about that. It's not the most exciting training, but it is very, very beneficial. Now the anaerobic conditioning, so that quick burst in power. Um, this is where like motocross, enduro, hare scramble, whatever it may be, share a lot of similarities with sports like soccer. So athletes need to repeat these high intensity efforts in short bursts with minimal times to recover. Where they, like a soccer, there's like a really intense play and a little break, a really intense play and a little break with the way the ball's moving around the field and the player. And that can kind of be a little bit relatable to racers because you're going to do a section that's pretty intense and you're going to kind of get back to the steady work and then intense and back to the steady work. And so that's where a good example of anaerobic training is beneficial and it's going to really help increase your lactate threshold. So this is the point at which the muscles start to accumulate or fatigue. You kind of get that burning feeling, if you know what I'm talking about. Um, and doing lactate threshold sessions can help your body better buffer lactate and get better at clearing it from your muscles. So doing those really high intensity type off the bike training will definitely help. And you can kind of think about it as going through like um something really muddy or physical on like a motocross track, which I mean, we all know racing, the whole thing's physical. But something really muddy or a really intense section where it's like just like to the max, like you're going your absolute max. That's kind of where the anaerobic training would help. So in sports like soccer, or I should have also mentioned MMA, athletes train to improve their threshold so they can be powerful without wearing down too fast. And that's exactly what we want for racing. We want those increased, really high efforts to feel manageable and our body to be able to recover from them. So this is where we do that kind of high intensity training, which could be done swimming, biking, running, cycling, like really high intense, like all out efforts, really short sprints, hill repeats, stuff like that. Shorter hill repeats can help. Or you can do things like jump roping, battle ropes, those type of really high intensity workouts to high intensity interval training, HIIT, high intensity interval training, HIIT training. Also a good way to do it. And those frequent bursts help your body recover and get used to dealing with that stressor and getting back to work. If you're not trained enough, what happens is we can only go up to there so many times and the body can't recover. So you max out, recover. And then with each succeeding time, you start to find that the body can't really recover from this anymore. I'm kind of too little too beat down, too tired. And so that HIIT training, that anaerobic conditioning is what's going to make the body better deal with those type of stressors. So kind of to go a little deeper, when you're racing dirt bikes, you have to be able to switch between the aerobic and the anaerobic system within seconds. Like I said earlier, marathoners, road cyclists, certain types of road cycling, they're trying to constantly stay in one steady state to be really efficient. We don't have that choice for the type of racing we're doing. So training both systems is really important, making sure you're training the aerobic and the anaerobic system because your body needs to switch between the two systems so you can better handle the challenges and demands of racing. Now, I always talk about this. I'm going to hit it again. Recovery. We can't go hard all the time. So we're talking about this aerobic and anaerobic conditioning. We also need recovery sessions. A good example is in road cycling. They spend hours riding, but they do large amounts of also recovery rides. They do really low effort. So like a little bit higher effort than I'm talking here. So they're doing rides where they can speak full sentences and really give lots of oxygen, fresh nutrients to their body, so they're able to recover and help their body recover quicker and not overload or overstress their body. So we've got that aerobic conditioning, super important. We've got the anaerobic conditioning, super important. We also have recovery, and there's passive and active recovery. So I was just giving examples of active recovery. So doing like really easy cycling or a really easy run or going for a walk or a really light row. And then there's also passive recovery. So that's like taking a nap, laying low, keeping your feet up. Those are all examples of passive recovery as well. And just as important as that aerobic and anaerobic conditioning when you're consistently training. So now you're a racer, right? How do you apply this? And kind of just what I said, you want to do a mix of steady state training, of that aerobic training, of the anaerobic training with a short burst and high efforts. And then you want to do recovery sessions. So I'll give you a couple of examples. So first, an anaerobic session would be something that's like 30 to 45 minutes. This is just a really general example, where you're focused on once you're warmed up, doing really short bursts, like high effort burst, like all out 30-second burst with 1 minute recovery and doing several rounds of that. So all out 100% recovery, all out 100% recovery. And notice like this example, we have more recovery time than we have work time because we want the body to really be able to push it during those high efforts. And now, on the other hand, the aerobic side, this is really maintaining a steady effort. So, something longer, 1, 2 hours of cycling or riding or running once your fitness is built up there of just steady state. And a good way to give an example of that steady state is you're looking for you're looking for an effort that you can speak a couple words but not a full sentence. It's on a scale of 1 to 10, the rating perceived exertion scale. I would say it's a 4. So right now I'm at a 1. I would say for that steady state, you're looking at an RPE 4. You can speak a couple words. It's definitely not easy, but it is far from hard. And that's something you want to build up to, start shorter, but ideally you can go a couple hours, really helping build a strong, resilient, powerful energy engine. So you want to balance both of those with recovery, and I think that's a good way to look at it, a mix of all those types of sessions, aerobic, and recovery, for us racers, because we need both systems, the aerobic and the anaerobic system. So that's all I've got for you today on the aerobic and anaerobic system and the importance of the training and what it does for your body and kind of comparing to other sports because really for us to be at our best, we kind of got to understand how to apply it and when to apply it and how other sports apply it that use similar type of energy systems. So that's all I've got for you today on aerobic training. Now, keep in mind, we are right now, 2 weeks from Thanksgiving. We're going to have our Black Friday sale. So make sure you're signed up for our email list to get all the latest on that. You can go to maastofitnessmx.com and put in your email address and you'll be on our email list to get that email when it comes out. And yeah, simple enough. That's all I've got for you guys this week. If you're interested in Maasto Fitness and you want to try it out, give it a test drive, send me a message on Instagram at Maasto Fitness, and I'll hook you up with a free week of our single jump training program. Once again, I don't need credit card or any other info. All I need is your name and email address, and we have to set up to give it a free week. So catch you guys next week.